Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. Thank you for joining us again on Morning Spring on Western Spring Television, where we do these every weekday. We look at the headlines and then we have conversations about the betterment of this great nation called Nigeria. This is what we do, as I said earlier, every weekday, 7 a.m. And then we're broadcasting live and crisply clear on Channel 190 on StarTimes DTT and also on our various social media platforms with the address running on your screen right now, all at Western Spring Television. My name remains Femi Ojo, and thank you for staying with us all week. Good morning, Evelyn.
Good morning, Femi. How are you doing today?
Very well.
Welcome,
Very
people.
well,
It is Friday. Thank God it's Friday. And, you know, as I always tell you, I look forward to each Friday. And it's, you know, the beginning of the weekend. We hope to house it down a little, the tension and all of that, so we can have a good time at the weekend. My name is Evelyn Ohiolei, welcoming you to the last edition of Morning Spring for this week.
Right. And talking about development in the last 24 hours, it's been, you know, barrage of court orders, especially chief among that is those rather, it's the Edo situation, the nullification of the party primary of the PDP, that produced Asue Gutalo, and there have been reactions to that, though the party have been saying everybody should calm down. You know, nothing has changed. But in the eyes of the law, everything has changed, and that is what we are seeing. Still in the same Edo state, it's been, you know, the student of University of Benin, Uniben, have been on rampage, you know, protesting about things that are affecting their lives. 2 days ago it happened. Yesterday it continued. And you want to say, you know, I mean, student unrest, or let me call it protest, and then the political dynamics that has been thrown up in that state again. Evelyn, so much for Edo State.
Yeah, so much for Edo State. I like the way that you were able to connect it to what is happening in Uniben. That's to tell you the focus right now is on Edo State.
Yeah.
A lot of people didn't see that coming, especially with the court judgment saying the primaries that brought in Asue Igodalo is nullified. We do not know. Of course, the party may want to appeal. We do not know what the next action, the next line of action will be for the party, but whatever it is, I'm sure they are looking at the papers, their lawyers are looking at the papers and knowing what next they are to do. You know, this is a huge storm rocking the boat of the PDP at this time, just few months to the elections. I'm sure that a lot of people are talking, tongues will be wagging in the state, and this is a plus for the opposition because they know that anything that rocks the camp of their opponents is a plus for them. So the APC, the LP really are having a good time as it is right now.
Yeah, and then there have been reactions. By the way, I saw reactions last night of the APC campaign council telling the PDP, you know, to just accept their fate, and Asue Godalo should just join forces with them to make Edo great again. You know how politicians would do. And then the former deputy governor, you know, Philip Shaibo, yeah, who was impeached, reacted as well and said he has been vindicated. He said it, that election, I mean, priority PDP primary election, gubernatorial election was not properly done. That he said it. It was more, in his words, it was more of a wedding or birthday party, that was what was done. And the plaintiffs in this particular case, I think 4 individuals and almost 300 others, you know, they went to the court to say they were bad unjustly. And that was
they're actually delegates. They were
delegates,
delegates of that virtual
Thank
primaries,
God.
and they
Thank
were
you
not
for putting that there. They were not allowed
into that.
and then
you know,
Justice Inyang Ekwa, you know, slammed this particular order on them. So for the APC to say, accept your fate, join us, let's build a do again. And for the former deputy governor, you know, he was part of the contestants as well. You know, his own primary was held somewhere. So I've always known it. This was not properly done.
Well, for Philip Schreiber is out of PDP as it is now. He has been expelled. But then I know that definitely there will be developments, more developments in the
Yeah.
coming weeks, and PDP will never let this slide. But of course, fingers crossed as to what will happen in Edo State in the next few weeks. It's going to be drama upon drama. People are looking
Very
forward to
well.
what will happen. But then, whatever the drama is, we hope that it is not a chaotic drama
Right.
that will end up bringing crisis into the state and taking down the economic situation or probably
Right.
taking off lives. We do not want that. We want
all.
politics is a game, and
Yeah.
it's actually interesting to watch, especially when it has nothing to do with chaos and crisis. We look forward to what will happen in Edo State.
Yeah, very well. And we have to take a pause right now, but then we won't go without saying there are developments in River State as well, especially in the State House of Assembly. The Martin Amaule led House of Assembly. A lot is really happening, but then time is always running on this program. We take this pause. When we come back, you will still get to hear some of these developments in a newspaper segment as well. It's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. We're back shortly. Don't go nowhere.
All right, welcome back. It's the newspaper segment at this time, and we will be starting off this Friday, beautiful Friday morning, with the Punch newspaper. Let's see what the Punch has for us. It's punching right in our faces, talking about issues, situations that have happened in the country in the past 24 hours. Boldly written on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning, 10 states battling flooding, 21 others at risk. FG warns government fears cholera may worsen as Lagos, Abuja, others count losses. Flooding kills pupil. This is a sad one, actually. And rivers to overflow July. Ondo, Kaduna, 17 others to be affected. Flood sacks 10 Ogun communities. Like we said, there were warnings at the beginning of the year from NIMET. But right now, we are seeing the situation, and it seems the states were not prepared enough for the flood. Yesterday, the Lagos state government came out to apologize to its residents, saying that they are sorry for all that happened day before yesterday, and the shops that were affected, the houses that were affected, the people, the victims that were affected. But sorry does not cut it.
Doesn't cut it.
Sorry is not enough, But they are saying that they were able, it was not a reactive measure. They have been proactive enough to put things in place. But this is nature, and you cannot fight nature. It happens in every country of the world.
The adverse effect of that natural actions that we don't have power over have been predicted months earlier.
Yeah.
So Lagos can't put this on nature, really. Especially knowing the topography of that particular state. Lagos is, covered by lagoon, surrounded. A major part of it is on water. So they can't tell us it's just about nature. But, fair enough that they're apologizing. But then for a state like Lagos, a cosmopolitan state, a state of excellence, really.
As we were concerned yesterday, too, about the cholera situation worsening, the federal government also is scared that the cholera situation in Lagos might take a hike. Away from the flooding situation in Rivers State, NPA launches tugboats to boost port operations, and you can see the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy there, Adegboyega Oyetola, doing the launching at the launch of the tugboats to put port operations. SAC mandates Nigeria CEO local office for crypto firms. Driver bags 12 years jail for killing LASMA officer. Do APC jubilates. PDP urges calm as court nullifies Ighodalo's candidacy. Do APC jubilates. I said it earlier that definitely the opposition parties, it's a plus, it's a win for them. Okay, top corner, the Punch newspaper this morning. FG plans 2 trillion naira economic revival scheme. Inaugurates council. inaugurates cancelled 2 trillion naira economic revival scheme. We keep hearing monies upon monies, inauguration of committee upon
Committees upon
councils,
committees.
but we are not seeing the effect or the impact on the economy, and it's not trickling down to the ordinary citizen out there. Nigeria to host $5 billion African Energy Bank. NNPC disagrees as report puts petrol debt at $6 billion. And lastly, Labour heads for victory in UK exit poll, as we know that election in the United Kingdom started yesterday,
Right.
and it's the Labour versus the Conservative, and as it is, Keir Starmer might actually be heading for victory. I mean, the Labour Party right now. And away from the UK and Labour Party yesterday, you know, it was the independence of the United States. And
July 4th.
all celebration, pomp and pageantry in that particular state. I know U.S. has had years and years of independence since 1776. I mean, congratulations to the United States of America. That will be all from the Punch newspaper.
Yeah, July 4th. You see them greeting themselves, Happy July 4th.
Yeah.
And then, you know, but maybe yesterday, yeah, they did. But then the Donald Trump thing, the election coming up, you know, might really have had its effect on how the animosity, if I may use that particular word, the influence or how colorful that will have been in the first place. But then, yeah. And, you know, there have been talks about Joe Biden's participation in that debate, performance rather, and how shaky it was. Although, interestingly, his camp came out to say it was because it was jet lagged and he had cold. You know that it's not only in Nigeria that people give you what street people call lamba. Really? All right. And there have been calls that it should be replaced. But then they Donald Trump camp are saying, if you dare do that, the game is over. But Donald Trump for who he is,
Yeah.
he will always talk tough and talk big. Interesting election ahead. All right, so moving on to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian newspaper is next. Parties key as courts deliver upset in Edo Rivers Power Games. Really? Power play, Power Games. And of course, you see, interesting one. You see this posture of Sim Fubara, and he's giving some kind of vibe, really, the way he's looking in this picture. And of course, Godwin Obaseki, Yasui Gudalo, Martin Amaule, and then the FCT minister himself, who is the poster boy. I think
The Versace minister.
I'm telling you, really, who is talking tough, throwing jabs, shades here and there. The minister Wiki. Interesting one. And JAM clamps down on fake diploma certificates for university admission. You can see the picture of the JAM boss there, the registrar, Professor Ishaq Oloyede. NNPCL denies $6 billion debt as PLQ's resurface. NNPCL denies $6 billion debt as PLQ's resurface. But then, every Nigerians will say, whenever people in power deny something, I guess it's as good as mine. EFCC, NFIU. Others decry money laundering, terrorism financing. EFCC, NFIU. Others decry money laundering, terrorism financing. There's been a lot of talk about the EFCC, not just about the operations, which can be sometimes, of some of their personnel, which can be sometimes unprofessional. But I think we took it on Spring Trend yesterday, how they have been, churning out tweets, calling on people to give them ideas to work with them, and then it's been, people are saying, why are you changing your tone? Are you trying, is this, you buying sympathy from people, letting the people to know that, strategies might differ, but then the message is still the same. And I saw some tweets on their, was it on their website, on their Twitter handle, that there are some businesses that they should come and register with them, especially people in doing jewelries, jewelers, and I think car dealers. And it's about this NFIU and money laundering cases. There are some business that are used for money laundering. So you might want to just go to the page of the FCC to see if your business is part of those that are mandatorily, you must come and, register with them. Moving on, exit poll. Labour wins landslide in UK general election. So see the picture of the two men, Keir Starmer and Rishi Sunak. KEDC disconnects Luth CMUL from electricity, over 252 million naira debt. Luth, that's Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. They are OE and they have been disconnected. And you know the effect on the people that are there, the effect on people that are on, that are in the ICU. It's a sad situation. Tinubu enlists Dangote, Lumelu, Rwani in economic team. Evelyn, how many of these committees? I think this should be the third, if I'm not mistaken, of having these big guys in different committees. Tony Lumelu, Abdul Samad, Dangote in different economic team, and this is the third one. And just like you said earlier, what is really the effect of these committees upon committees? We are hearing 2 trillion naira, to be worked with. All right. I hope it gets to somebody around Agumbele, for them to sing, yes, we are part of this government. Now, seeks Tinubu's endorsement of 300% pay rise for judiciary. All right. Abductors of Health Bayelsa Commissioner get 40 years jail time each. All right. And that's a very sad thing. Abductors, kidnappers. I think they're in the same WhatsApp group with killers, because some of them are killers as well. You kill people mentally, you traumatize them.
Yeah.
And I think it's a very sad situation. And those who fake the abductions as well, they should know it's a very serious crime. That will be all from the front page of The Guardian for today.
And from The Guardian newspaper this morning, we head on to Vanguard newspaper this morning. Vanguard newspaper, 21 LGAs in 10 states, FCT submerged in flood. According to federal government, says no release of water from dams. Cameroon's Lagdo Dam wants state LGs to safeguard lives of Nigerians. Away from that, Lagos, 2,000 retirees receive 4.5 billion naira benefits. And JAMB uncovers 3,000 fake graduates. 3,000 fake graduates. Kidnapping, FG working seriously to secure ungoverned spaces. This is coming from the NSA, the National Security Advisor. The federal government is working seriously to safeguard or to secure ungoverned places. Doguba, all right, before then, FG's debt to petrol importers exceeds 9.1 trillion naira. Doguba, PDP court to wrestle over Ighodalo's candidacy. Appeal court to void sack of Rivers Assembly Speaker Mawule, 24 others. And still on the Vanguard newspaper this morning, just for the laughs, let's see, Mr. and Mrs. here. You transferred 15,000 naira instead of 20,000 naira. That's coming from Mrs. Mr. replying, I must have forgotten. The Mrs. again, what did you ask me to buy? Cow leg, liver, and fresh fish. How come you remember those? All right, that's just for the humor there from Mr. and Mrs. And that will be all from the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, one interesting one. You took us federal government's debt to petrol importers at the top street exceeds 9.1 trillion naira. But on the front page of The Guardian I took earlier, the NNPCL are saying we are not owing $6 billion. But then, we are hearing it as the federal government, they are indebted to petrol importers and it exceeds 9.1 trillion naira. But then maybe there might be explanations to that as well. Daily Trust asked the story, federal government puts 18 states, FCT and flood alert. Federal government puts 18 states, FCT and flood alert. In fact, I think every state should be, ready for whatever might come at this time. Although there are states that are prone to these issues. You talk about Lagos, talk about some South states. You talk about Kogi State every year. And these are things that I think we must be doing better at this time. Right now, says cholera escalation likely. You said that earlier, Evelyn. I think this is the time for every state, especially those that are cholera infested for the past few weeks, to have, is it hospitals, or to activate every possible facility, for eventualities, because most likely it will happen so that people will not be caught aback. There might be cases. Doctors should be on ground, nurses to be on ground, facilities to be on ground, drugs to be on ground, ambulances to be on ground. But the thing is, the personnel, how many are remaining as it stands right now? You remember a few weeks ago, we took it on this program a few months ago, that a particular unit, I think the psychiatry unit at Lagos State University Teaching Hospital Complex, has been closed down because of lack of personnel. And this is a unit that has 153 beds. So I think we said it that time, you better keep your mental health intact if it's in your power to do that, especially in Lagos. People are moving out in droves. I'm talking about personnel. State rollout enlightenment campaigns. And I think this is one thing that we must do. And those campaigns should be, translated to every indigenous language. And I think there should be enforcement as well, because sometimes until there are consequences, people will not do what they are supposed to do. Naturally, let me quickly add the Nation newspaper. Tinubu injects 2 trillion naira to stimulate economy. Tinubu injects 2 trillion naira to stimulate economy. That's quite a promissory headline. Inject. The committee was just put together yesterday. Edu, health, agriculture, power generation gets priority. Health, agriculture, power generation gets priority. All right. And just like I said earlier, many committees upon committees that have some of these private, business owners, entrepreneurs, the Lumelus, the Dangotes, Abdul Samad of this world, our $10 of this world, and it's about economy. What exactly have they been doing? What exactly are the mandates, given to them, and the timelines, KPIs, to see to the effect of these committees that have been put together over and over. Court voids Edo PDP primary, and the court affirms Amaule, 24 others as Rivers lawmakers. Lagos pensioners get 4.5 billion naira. I think that should be good news to some people there, and I hope it's coming on time, not too late kind of a situation. And it's instructive to note, Evelyn, this one, and we have been reading it earlier, but the way the Nation put it, court voids Edo PDP primary, court affirms Amaule. You keep hearing court, 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 court. And you are talking about democratic institutions. From the primaries, there are rancors, there are issues, avoidable ones, and then you get to the process of the election. Sometimes, most times, it will still end up in court. So exactly, where's the will of the people from the primaries, the contestants and their supporters, and then the will of the people when it comes to the real election? Because it's been court. You could see this, court voice Edo primary, court affirms Amaule. What exactly are we?
And this is just
this democracy?
This is just the primaries. So
primary, especially in Edo State, this primary.
To what will happen after the elections.
Court.
And major stakeholders have said that, especially in the last election, we had the highest number of petitions ever, political election petitions, ever. And this actually speaks to the fact that, are we really practicing democracy in Nigeria, or it's just a civil rule when the institution started with the responsibility of conducting this election? We do not trust the process enough. So we have to go to the courts to determine who the winner is. This is really...
So where does this put the... Now, for those, what do you call them, delegates who voted in those primary elections now, so where's their will? What have they done? Their will have been taken away to the court. So why should they be a part of that institution, of that process next time? Just like you said, just a primary. The 2023 election was a lot. Even the judiciary, I think Justice Kawode, the CJN, spoke about it. It was the highest ever. And it's overwhelming the judiciary, even if they don't want to admit court cases upon court cases. In fact, there are some persons who say maybe there should be different courts for these political kind of cases, but then that's why we have tribunals. And the people in tribunals are still the one that will still sit
Yeah.
for other civil litigations as well. And these are the issues we are seeing. Court upon court influence in our election process. This is a pre-election situation that has refused to go away. And then this is what we are seeing. We just hope we get it right. Even as a people, and it speaks of the power-grabbing influence and the monetization of our elective positions in Nigeria. By the way, this is where we take this particular break right now. When we come back, we speak to the economy. What is going on? We just read it. There are 2 trillion naira will be injected, into the economy again, and it's not just from the government part. Private individuals, investors, business moguls have been put to be part of those committees upon committees. What are we doing? Inflationary rate, more than 23% as it stands. Food inflation, you don't even want to go there. But I will be speaking to somebody who knows, I don't want to miss this conversation. Is a Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. Take this break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay with us. Good morning, sir.